Alright, what's up, YouTube? I don't usually do this, I don't usually even make videos, but I decided that I was going to make a new video with me actually talking. I haven't done this probably ever, but I want to give a type of narrative on boxing. I love boxing. You maybe like boxing if you're in my channel. I have a couple boxing videos, I wanted to give, I wanted to give my analysis of Gennady Golovkin. We all know that this guy's a beast, a straight killer, but there's a few unanswered questions about Triple G. So I don't know how many questions I'm gonna ask, but they're just gonna come off the top of my dome. So here we go. Question number one is a question about Gennady Golovkin's chin. How good is Triple G's chin? I know Triple G says that he's never even been hurt in over 300 amateur fights and now 28, 29 professional fights. So that's pretty impressive. He says he's never been hurt, and I don't know if he's ever really been chin checked. I know he got hit a few times by Stevens, and yeah, he took him very well. He didn't he backed up a little bit, but he didn't seem hurt at any time. He just shook him off pretty much. He would back up a little bit, but I'm sure he felt his power, but it didn't really hurt him in any way. So I'm pretty sure that I don't know if his chin is sturdy, and we can't really say it. But is there anybody in 160 that could test his chin? And I would say no. Maybe Peter Quillen, but the question of people wanting to fight him is another story. So maybe that's another question. Mm, Maybe Peter Quillen could check his chin, but the thing with Triple G is that to to hit him, you gotta open yourself up, and to open yourself up against Triple G is could be deadly. Is deadly. So is that something anybody is willing to do to check his chin? Even to throw out a few jabs out with Triple G is dangerous because he's got pretty good head movement and he's got a very good ring IQ. You know, he's Eastern European and got over 300 amateur fights, silver medal, world champion. You know, and he hasn't been fighting chumps lately. Rubio was no bum. Rubio was no bum at all. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. He's a tough customer. He's a rough Mexican guy. That I think maybe compare it to a Salido. Salido is a tough Mexican, rugged, veteran with a bunch of losses, and that's Rubio. Imagine Salido getting knocked out just like that with one punch to the head. That's just insane because of how rugged they are. But yeah, that's one question I have for Triple G, his chin. Question number two is, could he go rounds? I think the correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the fight that lasted longest was the Auma fight. I've never really seen that name pronounced Ouma. I believe I think he fought him, and that fight went 10 rounds. And I just heard he took a beating. I haven't watched it personally, but he went 10 rounds taking a beating. But could Triple G go rounds in a tough, rugged fight against a tough customer? And again, it's not his fault, and I'm sure he can. I believe that Gennady is the real deal, but we won't know until somebody tests him. And you know, if he beats Cotto and Canelo and Peter Quillin, people still say that he hasn't been tested. But as long as he, as long as he's fighting everybody and beating everybody, and when he becomes the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, there's no debating that he will be the best middleweight. I think there's no debating now that he's the best middleweight, but there are still those that doubt, and because of these questions that we have about him, these unanswered questions. I think question number 3 goes with question number 1 and 2. I think it might be the same as number 2 actually. Is about his stamina. Could he last? Could he go 12 rounds? Yeah, this is exactly the same question. Could he go 12 rounds against someone like Andre Ward, or maybe he'll have to go to 175 to find an opponent? Bernard Hopkins, or I don't know. I don't even know who would go 12 rounds with this beast of a man. But he's just been blowing guys out the water left and right, and I believe his power is real. His power is real because you don't see guys knocking these fools out. Gio had never been knocked out. Rubio hadn't been knocked out in a long time. So he's knocking fools out, and he's supposed to be knocking these fools out, and he is. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, and you can't hate a man for that. You can't hate Triple G for fighting his opponents and beating them in this way. And the difference between now, of course, I have to bring up Mayweather in a boxing video, but the thing is with Mayweather, you're paying $75 for his fights, and he is so much better than his opponents, but he chooses just to cruise the whole way. That's the difference between him and Duran and Leonard and Tommy Hearns. He will never be that great because Ray Leonard would have stopped Robert Guerrero. He would have stopped Maidana. He would have stopped Canelo, or at least try to stop Canelo. He would have tried, or even a James Toney. I just watched a few weeks ago the Giraffe fight. Man, what a great fight! He tried to stop him at the end, and he almost did. And what a great performance by both guys in that fight. And that's why. And I used to be a huge Mayweather fan, but maybe I'll make another commentary about how I stopped becoming a Mayweather fan. But yeah, this video is about Triple G. And that's, I guess, 2.5 questions I have about him. Perhaps I have another one off the top of my dome. We all know that he could draw recently. Okay, maybe number 3. I say that I tell anybody who would listen that Triple G is the next Pacquiao, not because of his fighting style, not because of his weight, but because he's an international. He has the potential to be an international superstar like Pacquiao. And I guess that's my question. Could Gennady Golovkin be the next pay-per-view star? And I think a lot of people are just tired of pay-per-view, paying these high prices for lame fights, for mismatches like Pacquiao Kawadi, Pacquiao Mosley, Mayweather Victor Ortiz. They're just tired of paying that much for those type of fights, and I would wish to do away with a pay-per-view fight. But if you're giving me entertaining fights and a good undercard, then I wouldn't mind. Then I don't mind paying for pay-per-view if that's the case. And I do think Triple G could be the next pay-per-view superstar, but I try to get to his fight. I live in California. I tried to get tickets to go to Carson, but they were already sold out by the time I tried, so I couldn't. And that really sucked. And we all know he could draw. He draws in France. He draws in New York. He draws in Carson in California. So could Triple G be the next pay-per-view superstar? Could he be the next Pacquiao? Okay. Those are just a couple of questions that I have about Triple G. I believe he's the real deal, but until until these questions are answered, we won't know if he could be a great, a pound per pound. I think if he just wipes out his division, he onto the pound for pound. But to to be number one pound for pound, as I think he has the potential, he's gonna need to fight guys that'll give him a few rounds, maybe give him a challenge to be. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but hey, I'm a fan, so to be an all-time great, he would have to challenge himself, which he's willing to do. And honestly, I can't wait to get these questions answered because I just love watching Triple G fight. Every time he fights, it's an entertaining fight. He says himself that he loves to give a good fight. So tell me what you guys think, the few people that watch my videos. So tell me what you think about these questions and if Triple G will answer them in the next couple years. So the first question was, how good is Triple G's chin? The second and third question is, how good is Triple G's stamina, and could he go rounds with a tough opponent that doesn't give up when he hits him with something hard? And the fourth question is Gennady Golovkin the next Pacquiao, the next international superstar that could make people buy his fights on the pay-per-view? Alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.